Yesterday, and this is the way the Post reports it, as the world waited for the indictment of the Trump Organization to be unsealed Thursday, the disgraced former president released a statement just minutes before the arraignment of his chief financial officer. Here's what it said. Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. Who shot Ashley Babbitt? Wasn't there a movie, Who Killed Roger Rabbit? I mean, when I saw this, Who Shot Ashley Babbitt, first, I seriously had this urge, and I just wish it could have been fulfilled, to walk up to this orange vomit and just bitch slap him across his face. And I mean it like that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to use a sexist term, but just slap the shit out of this red-faced lump of filth. Who shot Ashley Babbitt? You rotten bastard, you caused this woman to die. And as Dana Milbank says, this statement from Trump, how terribly fitting. Just as his company and his top finance guy were about to be charged with 15 counts of fraud, grand larceny, conspiracy, falsifying records, Trump detonated one more weapon of mass distraction. Who shot Ashley Babbitt? And in doing that, he gave up all pretense about the events of January 6th. He was with the insurrectionists then, and he's leading them now. I'm sure you know that, truth seeker, because you're listening to this podcast. If you don't remember, she was the rider who was shot dead by Capitol Police as she was breaking through the final barrier that protected these lawmakers from this violent Trumpist mob attacking the House of Representatives. You remember that. Matter of fact, there was a video showing her blown backward by the bullet. I guess it was a .45 caliber or a 9mm. So now the orange vomit is joining with these crazy religious son of a bitches in this country who are casting Babbitt as the victim and the Capitol Police as the villains of that day. It doesn't take these scum long to completely invert something, to turn the life of this innocent woman who was brainwashed into believing that there was some reason for her to show up at the Capitol to protest the theft of an election from the then President of the United States, the orange vomit. She was led to believe that. I don't know what her mental state was. I don't know if she was drunk, a drug user, a churchgoer. I have no idea. I just know this. She would not have been there. None of them would have been there, except for the lies and distortion that had been going on for 4 years, for 5 years, a year before the election of this filthy pig, Donald Trump. On and on and on, a steady stream of lies and propaganda and bullshit put out there by the Fox Sewer and Onan News and Trump himself. And then Ashley Babbitt is shot as she's trying to overthrow the United States government. And now this dirty, rotten Donald Trump releases a statement that says, who shot Ashley Babbitt? You did, you filthy pig. You did. So, if you had any doubt, and I know you didn't, now we know for certain that this disgraced son of a bitch, Donald Trump, still stands unapologetically with the scum, the filth, who tried the violent overthrow of Congress and the violent overthrow of the results of a democratic election in this country. Dana Milbank says, quote, no grand jury could return an indictment worse than the one Trump returned against himself Thursday, end quote. I'm not a student of history, political history of the United States. But in my limited understanding of the history of the United States and some of the characters involved in that history, I can't think of anyone in a position of leadership that the Orange Vomit somehow found himself who has been worse for this country, more destructive, more poisonous than Donald Trump. So it doesn't make any difference what the Orange Vomit says at this point. And I know the whole world should just stop talking about this filthy bastard, but it's using the old meme. It's like driving past a severe auto accident. You don't want to look, but you do. But keep in mind the charges in New York now against this filthy pigs organization and his financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, are numerous and they're serious. A scheme to defraud, conspiracy, grand larceny, criminal tax fraud, offering a false instrument, falsifying business records, 15 counts in all. And the prosecutors in this case have put out enough hints. It starts to remind me of Hansel and Gretel leaving breadcrumbs, enough hints that this is but a laughable moment compared to what's coming. In the indictment, there were others left unnamed and called in the indictment for the time being, quote, other executives, end quote, compensated the same way Weisselberg was. And, quote, others, end quote, who implemented the fraudulent scheme. And the indictment said, quote, including unindicted co-conspirator number one. Gee, gosh, I wonder who that is. But I can't wait until the indictments against this vomitous little prick son of his, Donald Trump Jr., and the one who looks like walking cat piss, Eric Trump. And then, of course, Miss Beautiful Ivanka and her fascist Jewish husband, Jared. I look forward to that. But the scheme, according to the indictment, was pretty straightforward, as Dana Milbank reports. Straightforward but sleazy. It was simply Weisselberg, like other Trump executives, was paid off the books in the form of rent subsidies or private school tuition or luxury cars or end-of-the-year cash payments disguised as holiday entertainment, new beds, new television, carpeting, furniture. And the indictment also makes clear that these Trump slime knew they were doing wrong and tried to hide it. The indictment says at one point, quote, on or about September 2016, Alan Weisselberg directed a staff member in the accounting department to remove the notations that said, per Alan Weisselberg, from the entries in Donald Trump's detailed general ledger relating to tuition payments paid on Weisselberg's behalf to his family member's private school. Oh, get that out of there. Get that out of there quick. Now, the thing is, of course, and this is just the beginning, but the Trump organization, as filthy and corrupt and criminal as it was a very closed little circle of family members and scum that claimed to be family members of the Orange Vomit. Consequently, once the indictments, the people in the indictments become not unindicted co-conspirators, not suspect number one, or however it's referred to, once the names come out, we are going to see the names of the entire Trump filthy, pig-sucking family. Oh, God. I know I hate putting it that way, but how else am I supposed to put it? Right? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.